had a huge win at under-21 level during the week. Could their minors build on it as they took on a Dublin side seeking to reach a second successive All-Ireland final? Gary McDonough reports.
The first of this year's minor semi-finals was an enthralling affair between the beaten finalists of the last 2 years, Dublin and Clare, and it was the Banner men who started brightest, highlighted by this fine Shane O'Donnell point. Clare were winning lots of breaks around the middle third, and a lovely pass sent Shane Taylor through, but he was dragged to the ground just inside the square by Dublin's Cian McGowan. Midfielder Jamie Shanahan made no mistake, and Clare led by 1-5 to 1 point after a quarter of an hour. A minute later, Dublin were back in it after a mix-up in the Clare full backline. Corner forward Oisin O'Rourke, with some quick thinking, accepted the present with glee to reduce the margin to 4 points. Dublin started to come more into it, and when the sliotar found its way to Caolan Conway, he only had one thing on his mind, but his effort was brilliantly saved by Clare goalkeeper Eibhear Quilligan. But Conway wouldn't be denied. When he was presented with another goal chance moments later after a brilliant catch, he absolutely buried the sliotar to the Clare net, giving Quilligan no chance to leave the minimum between the sides. It was a cracking shot. Clare, though, finished the half well, and star midfielder Jamie Shanahan's point helped them on their way to a 1-11 to 2-6 lead at the break. 10 minutes into the second half, Shane O'Donnell gave Clare some breathing space when his shot burst through the net. Cian McGowan could only stand and admire the finish as the Dubs now trailed by 5. A penalty for Sean McClellan gave Dublin a chance to reply, but his effort was saved on the line by cornerback Garrods Ryan, and at this stage it looked like Clare's day. We were then treated to the point of the match after a brilliant passage of play, a superb pass setting up Shane Taylor, who made no mistake, and with 6 minutes left, Clare led by 5. But Dublin never gave up, and when Donald Gormley's miss-hit shot was gathered by Colm Cronin, the midfielder found the back of the net, and the Dubs had a lifeline. It was all to play for in the final 5 minutes. Bobby Duggan, who scored 7 points from frees on the day, had a chance late on to keep Clare in front, and even though no one was 100% sure if the sliotar had gone over the bar or not, referee David Hughes did the right thing in checking with his umpires, and replay suggests that the right call was made. With the sides level in injury time, Jamie Shanahan caught a great ball in midfield for Clare, but was then penalised for charging, much to his dismay. This gave Paul Winters the chance to win it for Dublin, and although his effort dropped short, Oisin O'Rourke pounced to break Clare hearts as he scored his second goal of the game. Dublin's comeback was complete, and they will now contest their second minor final in a row against either Galway or Tipperary. Final score, Dublin 4-14, Clare 2-17.
Clare are a very, very good team, and they played exceptionally good hurling. And like, if we're brutally honest, like the best team actually lost today. Like I thought Clare were superb. Like they didn't let us play around the middle of the field. They picked off their scores a lot better than we did, and we struggled in a lot of areas. But like there's a lot of belief in this team. There's a lot of experience there, and I think maybe in the end it maybe had a factor in that we stay going right till the end.
There was periods in that match where we should have pulled ahead. We didn't, and then we gave away goals. You know, when you leak goals like that, you're not going to win a match. No matter how much you dig deep, you know, no matter what you do, it's going to go against you. And unfortunately, it did.
Well, Cyril, Shea Boland was pretty fair and generous there, saying Clare were the better team. What was your own view on it?
Yeah, I suppose Clare were very unlucky, but if you let in 4 goals, goals win matches, like, you know. But like, you know, last year as well against Galway, they were very unlucky. Like, you know, young Kelly hit the upright and ball went wide, and didn't go one in extra time. Dublin are like, they are Leinster champions. They hung in when things are going bad. They got back into the game. But like, I've seen the other Tipperary play in Galway. You'd have to feel that both of them like would fancy their chances very much so against Dublin.
Yeah. You were particularly taken with some of the scores by one of the Clare players.
Yeah, like Clare played very well. I thought young Shane Taylor from Broadford had a great game. Like, you know, I've seen him all year, and like, he's improving every game. Like, these scores coming up here, like, here's a lovely crossfield ball here now by Aidan O'Gorman across the pitch. He gets inside his corner back here. The Dublin keeper comes out, McGowan comes out and takes him down. Penalty. You know, probably is going to score himself, and then upstairs Shannon, and he drills into the back of the net. But he got some great scores from Clare as well. He's not that big a fella. It's a great catch here, back onto his left side, left to right, bang over the bar. He was on song at this stage, like, and Clare were on top at this stage. But there's a point coming up here, probably as good as you're going to see. Here's young Quirk from the club called Whitegate, little flick up along here, up to Duggan, good free take with this fella, crossfield ball again, and here's Taylor again. bang over the bar. Like, that's as good as players to see. They'll wonder tonight, even Finney and his manager will wonder how they lost. But when all is said and done, as he said there himself, 4 goals conceded. Some of them kind of were lucky, you know, and that's the way it goes. You're not going to win letting in 4 goals. They only scored 2, and that was the difference in the end.
Tomas, give us a verdict on the goals.
Yeah, I mean, look, I suppose Clare did all the hurling, to be honest, over that period. And look, I mean, this is one in the first half period against the run of play when Clare were certainly on top. Look, and here the goalkeeper kind of gets caught in no man's land. I mean, if you're going for a ball like that, you must take ball and maybe man it all with it, right? And there was a bit of a hesitancy, and look, it's Oisin O'Rourke just has to kick it back into the net. This is the best goal of the game. It's a great goal by Keelan Conway, and I mean, look, a little shimmy there, a little sidestep, and a rocket of a shot off his left hand into the corner of the net. Fantastic goal, and that kept Dublin in the game in the first half period. I mean, Clare had got notched up 1-11, they got 2-6. And look, this is a kind of a mistake. This is a shot for a point, and it ends up beside at the midfielder, Colm Cronin, and bang in the back of the net. And it gives them a lifeline, it keeps them in the game. And I mean, they got 4 goals. Michael will take us through the 4th one. A lot of maybe kind of dispute about it, but I'm sure Michael will talk about it.
And this is the big talking point, Michael, the last minute of the game.
Well, you know, in a minor match like that, you're sort of saying to ref, blow it up. You know, it's after been a sort of topsy-turvy game. 4-14 Dublin scored, 4-12 in play, which is a phenomenal score from play, but really they were playing second fiddle all through.
He can't blow it up, in fairness.
I know he can't blow it up, but I'm only saying that, you know, you're looking at the match as a neutral, and you're saying, you know, you'd hate to see either team losing. Then the ball comes out to the middle of the field, and, you know, I think it's Jamie Shanahan who, you know, one of the best players in the field today. But if you watch, he catches, and it looks like he's Barger. Keane O'Callaghan holds him up. But if you watch the replay here, and we just slow down, he catches a great ball here, and watch Colm Cronin, the Dublin player. He just grabs him by the arm there, and he pulls him back, clearly pulls him back there, and holds him up, and that's why he couldn't get away, and he's held up, and the referee gives the free in. So I think it's a wrong call, and of course then what happens at the end of it then, here's Oisin O'Rourke again in a very good corner forward goal, in fairness. But it was a very, very harsh decision by David Hughes against Jamie Shanahan.
Let's get a verdict on it. Was it a free for Dublin?
It was a free first for Clare, and then it was the full back from Dublin did nothing wrong, but like definitely you know, Shannon was fouled, and like that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I'd agree with the lads, but I mean, at the end of the day, Dublin win the match. I mean, they're going into second All-Ireland final in a row, so I mean, it is good for Dublin hurling. Put some minor success.
I think a factor is Dublin are building a tradition now at underage level. You know, a few years ago, Dublin wouldn't have won that match. Not a hope, because you know, they would have been beaten out the gate. Clare did all the hurling, Dublin were just hanging in there, but Dublin now are have become the sort of Kilkenny of underage in Leinster. They're winning an awful lot of titles along the way, and just hung in there, didn't play well throughout the game, but yet, and Shea Boland, the manager, you don't see that too often, and it was lovely and refreshing to see. To me, he was very gracious to actually admit that the better team lost, and the better team did lose.
And I think, to be fair to Clare, that they had 2 very good minor teams last year and the year before. This team would be brand new. They've done very, very well to get that far. I know they'll be heartbroken tonight, but like, you know, as the boy said beforehand, they're doing something right. Because like, they've contested now, you know, they've come out in the Crow Park the last 3 years minors. They've won the under-21 the other night, Munster title. They're going to be in the All-Ireland final as well. So like, their underage thing is coming through, and these lads are all coming on. You'd have to say that Clare hurling, the future is bright. There's always hard knocks on the way.
And Dublin were raging hot favourites to win it last year, you know, and they got went wrong for them, you know. So they're certainly going to win as underdogs, no matter who comes through the other semi-finals. The best way to be.
Well, that'll be a great game to look forward to as well. Apart from the senior game next week, that minor semi-final, as Cyril mentioned, 2 great teams in it. A reminder about more sport on RT.